Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 23 of my knitting podcast. My name is Marlene. I'm a knitter from Germany. I work freelance as a knitting pattern translator and at my local yarn shop. If that's news to you and you're like, wait, wasn't she a PhD student a couple of months ago? I'm like, yeah. And I talk in depth about these life changes of mine in my latest, I think 2 or 3 videos. Not the traveling one, but the other 2. Thank you so much on your feedback, your kind words. But today we're just here to talk about knitting. Some media recommendations, but they're for the end. I caught myself in a lie because I'm looking at the spinning wheel right now. So we're not just going to talk about knitting, we're also going to talk about spinning. But that's, like I said, for the end. If that's not your kind of thing, it might become a regular thing on this channel just because I love it so much, and I know that that's not going to change within the next months. And so, yeah, I hope you're also as cozy as I am. I'm going to jump right into the finished patterns, finished projects. I'm wearing my first finished project. I finished 2 test knits, and this is the first of the 2. I wasn't sure which one to wear. This was one of the hardest decisions this week. But I just went with this one this morning and I didn't change. So we're going with the killiney blouse by PetiteKnit. The designer's name is Coley Nielsen. She also is known as a hand dyer under the name PetiteKnit. And yeah, this was her first pattern, her first test knit. And I'm so happy that she chose me because this truly feels like something that had to happen. It is made in Woolberry Fiber Co's cozy, I think berry cozy sock base, so fingering weight in the colorway Flock. And Flock Fiber Festival was the place where I met Coley actually for the first time in person, as well as so many more amazing people from the fiber community. When Jess and the team behind Flock Fiber Festival actually announced that they announced more about next year's event. I mean, it was obvious that there would be next year. I was literally crying at the end of this year's festival because I was like, I don't know if I can miss that. But flights are very expensive. So yeah, Flock has a huge special place in my heart. And so this is basically my Flock blouse. And it kind of encompasses all of my love for the fiber community. It is also made with 1 strand of woolly yarn Surrey. I got it on a cone. It was relatively affordable. Yeah. And it was in the fiber, it was in the color crystal gray. Okay, I'm trying to do as little cuts as possible just because it feels more natural to me. It is less work for me, for editing me. And also I find, I've been talking to friends about that and I think it's a good thing to do. To also not have too high expectations of myself. But yeah, this is the finished killiney blouse. I'm actually trying to insert some pictures of me wearing it. Right now I'm working on a format where I show you how I style my knits. It's pretty difficult to film, so I will see how that works out. But yeah, I wanted to show you how I like to layer and wear my things. Right now I'm just wearing a t-shirt from, I think it's really old t-shirt from Brandy Melville, I think. And it's short sleeve. This one I actually made kind of like 4/5 sleeve. It's more than 3/4, but it's not even bracelet length. It's a bit shorter. I'm not yet sure if I'm going to pick it, open it back up and lengthen it. I'm actually quite happy with it because sometimes this week I wore a striped long sleeve underneath it, and you're able to see the stripes here as well as here. And I don't know why, but I quite like it. It's very warm and cozy, and so having a bit shorter sleeves actually quite nice. I don't like it in other knits, but I think with the V-neck it looks quite nice. I was thinking about how to name this episode, and obviously I wanted to put in killiney blouse and stick season, which is my next finished object, but I also wanted to keep it real, you guys, because I made some pretty bad mistakes on these test knits, and it goes to show how much changing jobs and like going into a new life situation can take up space in your brain. And so with both projects, I made the mistake, and I just realized it at different parts of the thing. I only realized when I was completely finished with this project, that I had for some reason thought that I was knitting this on 4mm, which I wasn't. I had to go up. So the pattern recommends 4.5. I went up to a 5 to meet the gauge. And then for some reason, I thought I was knitting this at 4mm needles. And so the sleeves have a different gauge. I actually quite like it because that means it's not too much of like a bell sleeve, and there's a fly in here. Go away. That actually means it's not too big of a sleeve because I didn't make any decreases in the sleeve. But yeah, I told Collie, she was like, it's okay. It might have changed yardage a bit, but length, body length and sleeve length was something that she was okay with us changing because all bodies are different, and I really, I'm grateful for that. Still, I love this project so much, but it was just something that, I don't know why, but there was this needle sitting next to my bed. I was knitting in bed at night quite a lot because I was working all day, and I just had like a sock project with me for like my half-hour lunch break. So yeah, it is finished. It is perfect. I had to redo the I-cord bind off 3 times, also because I made it too small. The first time I was too tight. Then I tried to do it looser the second time, but I still did it on the 4mm because I kind of messed it up. I finished the whole thing, then did the sleeves, then blocked it, and then I did the I-cord. And so because I had just done the sleeves on the wrong needle size, I also went on and did the I-cord on the wrong needle size. And then I just, 2 days later, I had already worn it. I had already taken some pictures with it. I just didn't like how it was like, kind of like tugging at the fabric, the I-cord, because it was a bit too tight. And so I picked it, like I unpicked it again, which was fairly easy because it's an I-cord, applied I-cord later on. And then I redid it on 5mm needles, which I'm very happy that I did that. It just goes to show that sometimes the effort is really worth it to make your knits perfect for you. They don't need to be perfect for anyone else, but it's quite nice to have a bit more of a roomy v-neck. I really like that. Another thing that I did, and I'm actually not sure if you'll be able to see it, I did some duplicate stitching because, and you'll be able to see it in the pictures, I didn't interchange skeins, mostly because I was knitting the first half of the body on vacation. I didn't take a second skein with me. I was also knitting in the row because of the v-neck for quite a long time, and I just didn't want to have to interchange skeins. I also thought, because it was just speckled, not so much like a like completely variegated, so many colors. I've made the observation that speckled yarns are okay to not be interchanged as much. I did interchange on the body and on the sleeves every kind of like 10th row, but at the end of the day, it just had more significant speckling on the part around my belly, and then not as much around my chest. And so I just duplicate stitched some darker threads. I just looked up duplicate stitch, and then I did some, and I think it's quite nice to have some more dark speckles right in the center, so it just breaks the kind of like harsh lines a bit. But yeah, that is my killiney blouse, and I adore it. It was such a nice progress. It was such a nice testing group. I'm so thankful to Coley for picking me to test it. I'm already looking forward to her next design. Hope she's gonna pick me again for testing her Stevenson sweater, because it just looks amazing. I've just seen like the front panel and I'm sold, or maybe it was even the back. I'm not sure. Y'all know I want to make an orange cabled sweater, and I restrained myself from buying the infamous saffron from IKEA, but I might shop her Leave No Trace collection and hope for the best. And also I'm looking at burnt orange from Knitting for Olive. We've got that at the shop, and I've already set my eye on the mohair and the merino, so maybe I'll just use that. It's also a really nice orange. And yeah, you don't have to have everything hand dyed, right? These two projects are, but then I'll have some more non-hand dyed projects too. But yeah, speaking about my second project, this is my second finished object, and like I said, I wasn't sure which one to wear. I'll probably wear this when it's going to be released in about, I don't know, it's a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. I'll wear this for my next episode, my anniversary episode. I'm so excited. My 1 year anniversary for the podcast on November 6th. And yeah, so I'm probably gonna wear it then. This is my stick season sweater, and it's made in EKF, Rocky's DK Daybreak. Although it has some Leave No Trace yarn in the ribbings. I lost a game of Yarn Chicken, and I was so grateful to Ulla, who's Ulla Knits on Instagram, for actually selling me one of her Leave No Trace skeins that was very closely resembling Daybreak, and so she was like, I think you can use that. Yeah, so this is my stick season sweater. Quick addition to killiney blouse. I made this in size 4 and I made this in size 5. I will have my measurements linked in the description box down below right at the end of it. It will show you how tall I am and my bust circumference, just for reference, to see how different, how do you say that, like positive ease, like how the amount of ease looks on a body like mine. Yeah. So this is the stick season. I will talk briefly about some modifications I made. The one modification I made, and then a mistake I made. One modification was that I made the ribbings 1 centimeter shorter on the whole body. So sleeve, body, and collar. This is double, like a folded collar, and then I sewn it down. In the pictures, the collar just looked really tall to me, and I wasn't sure if I liked that. But with this like slight change, like just 1 centimeter, I had to use another dye lot for my ribbings, but I don't actually think that you're able to tell. And yeah, the same thing goes for this sweater. I knitted it on 4.5mm needles to get gauge, because the Rocky's DK by Explore Knits and Fibers is quite a thin DK. It's more of like a sporty DK, and so I had to go up with my needle size to get the gauge in the pattern from a 3.5, which was recommended, to a 4.5. I'm also a bit of a tighter knitter, but like just slightly off. I have quite regular gauge, if you can say that. Like I'm not very loose, I'm not very tight, but I'm a bit tighter than average, I would say. So yeah, recently I've realized I'll have to go up like half a needle size more regularly. But with this, again, I don't know what happened. Like I was beside myself. I was just so focused on this new, like in a completely positive way, but also just a bit like, I don't know. I was just a bit beside myself. Do you say that actually? I'm not sure. So yeah, I knitted the sleeves on a 4mm needle. So the gauge is not correct here, but I don't mind. Again, I think I told the designer, oh, this is by Rebecca Clow, by the way. I'm like, everyone knows that, right? Sorry. I'll have all the information linked, as well as the Ravelry project pages. So if there's any more information that you need, you can always send me a comment and ask, or you can go into the project page first and see. So yeah, this is a slightly tighter gauge. I was trying to block it out a bit. It's maybe like 1 or 2 stitches off, so it's not a huge deal. They're just a bit more fitted than they would have been with the right gauge, but like slightly. And I had finished one sleeve, perfect decreases. It looked so nice, and then it dawned on me, and I was like, what did I just do? And then I put it to the side. I thought about it maybe 2 days while knitting on my killiney, on the wrong needle size too. And then I was like, I still like it. I'll still finish it. Like I said, I was playing yarn chicken. I wanted to get it finished in time. I wanted to get it finished early too, and I did with both. And yeah, it's not a big deal. It still looks amazing. They have a great length. They're actually also a tiny bit short. I really don't know what was going on, but also I had to block this out again with just steam blocking. The same goes for these like side seams. It's not very easy to block them while just having it like laying down. So I reblocked it again. But yeah, I'm just so chuffed with the whole project, even though there were these like small mistakes or maybe big mistakes. I'm very happy with them. I chose to do bind off in pattern, so to knit, to purl, bind off, instead of rearranging them for a tubular bind off. I just wanted to test it out. I actually tried to do the rearranging with the recommended video, and I didn't get it. And sometimes that's just how it goes. You don't get stuff, and that's okay. Other times I'm like, oh yeah, I'm seeing it once and I'm like, got it. But this time around, that just wasn't my story. So yeah, this is my 6th season by Rebecca Clow. I love it. I hope to one day maybe meet Rebecca, and so I'll be able to show her. She actually made the original one in the same colorway, just the natural DK base, which makes her a lot more toned down in color. But yeah, these are my 2 new favorite sweaters apparently, and I'll be moving on to some other knits now. Another quick finished object are these Sunday socks. They're in Sandnes Garn Perfect, which is the yarn I've been using for all the Sunday socks I've been making. They're size 40, and yeah, these are my 2nd finished pair. I'm currently knitting on my 3rd, and that's hopefully gonna be all the gift knitting on Sunday socks for this year. Maybe I'll make 1 more pair. It's just a question of, I want to make 1 pair for myself. I know that, and I've got the yarn. I got it in Denmark actually. And so yeah, I'm just not 100% sure if I'm gonna make any more for any other people, because I've already got some other gift knitting plans that I need to get on with. But I'm quite good on time, I think. It is the 26th of October, yeah. And yeah, so far it's going well. So moving on to my WIPs, works in progress. This is my, like I said, 3rd Sunday sock. I've just finished this, I think like 2 days ago, and now I've moved on to my 2nd pair. I've actually been to the hairdressers this morning. We tried just doing kind of like enhancing my natural wave technique, and I quite like it. I hope it looks good on camera too. But yeah, and I had just knitted this much, and then I knitted this amount of sock while sitting there, which was funny because last time I was there was around maybe the time before the last time was before Valentine's Day, and I was just knitting on another DK sock for Hannes, who is going to be the recipient of these, for a small like Valentine's gift for him. So maybe it's just my thing to be knitting on socks for my partner while I'm at the hairdresser. And so yeah, these are also in Sandnes Gone Perfect. They are in a beautiful dark gray mottled color. I really like them. I actually wanted to have them for myself, but like I said, I'm gonna make some dark orange ones for myself, which is pretty on trend for myself. So yeah, I made these in size 42 because he's like in between 42 and 43. And so I just made them to 42 and shortened the leg as the pattern recommends. I really like this pattern. Like I said, I've made it 3 times now. I'm not sure if I made it once before. No, this is the 3rd time. And yeah, I'm gonna probably finish them within the next 2 days. And that is going to be his first birthday present because his birthday is in November. I'm planning something for another thing in for December. So yeah, we'll see. But this is currently my lunch break, just 10 minutes of knitting after lunch project and just on the go during, yeah, hairdresser's appointments apparently. Keeping on the trend of gift knitting, I am really chugging along on this Northland sweater for him as well. We have a sleeve finished. He just tried it on last night to see if it had a good length, and it does. The only thing that we might, I'm saying we as if he can help me with that, I might have to change. It is a bit, it's not short, but it's like he can't really like move his arms up. And now that I'm saying that, my sleeve is just like but that for me, I don't mind cropped things for me, but I don't think he would want that. And we're talking about it, and that's actually quite nice to have this first sweater for him be something that we talk about a lot, and I can like see if it'll fit him and stuff like that. So I might have to open it back up and add some length, but I'll wait for after blocking. So I'm currently working on my second sleeve. I'm mostly working on it during when we're sitting on the couch or in bed at night and watching. Currently we're doing a rewatch of a lot of the Rings series, saga, trilogy, and now we started rewatching the Rings of Power, and yeah, so that's when I was working on this the most because it's quite mindless. I always put in stitch markers to remind myself to decrease because I have been known to forget to decrease, and so that's why I was saying I was so chuffed when I made some very neat decreases, because there have been projects in the past where I just decreased however I want it. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with this neat decreases, and that so far it fits him really nicely. And I'm just going to try and block maybe like 3 centimeters of length into the body. But yeah, Northland sweater by PetiteKnit. The Sunday socks are also by PetiteKnit, but I think that is well known at this point. I'm making this with Drops Alaska, which is actually quite a nice yarn. I had to buy like some crazy amount, like 16 skeins or something like that for his project, which with the Drops Alaska brought me to I think about 30 to 40 euros, which I think is a great amount for a first sweater. I wouldn't have wanted to pay much more for it, just because I'm like, yeah, this is my first sweater for someone else, not for myself. Although I have given a sweater to my mom that was intended for me in the first place, and it just didn't fit me right. It was too small for me. So this was the first sweater that I intentionally knitted for someone else. And it's still 100% wool. It's still, I think, quite nice quality for what it is. It is affordable, and the price was just, yeah. At the time I bought this yarn about a year ago, gifted to him for Christmas. If you haven't heard this story before, I then made this tiny sweater for him, gifted him the tiny sweater, and was like, this is my promise keeper to you that I'll be making a sweater to you within the next year. And now it's going to be finished by his birthday even, not just by Christmas, which I'll maybe talk a bit more about in my plans, because I might already be planning the next sweater for him. But yeah. My next project, I'm just trying to kind of race through them. I've also made some notes, but I feel like I have everything in my head so far that I need to talk about. So yeah, these are the Petal Drop Socks by Florence Miller, who's handmade by Florence. I'm just on the heel flap, so I'm trying to show you these. This is them. I'm really enjoying this pattern so far. Yeah, just following the pattern. I'm using a 2.5mm needles, and I really hope that was not the wrong decision, because she calls for 2.25. Like I said, I'm more of a tight knitter than a loose knitter, and so I'll just hope that that's gonna work out. My goal is to finish maybe this one sock in this month, because Socktober really hasn't been socking for me. I mean, I'm basically making like 4 single Sunday socks, so I'm socking. I'm not fingering socking. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you guys, I have so many sock sets, and I told you about my sock knitting plans, and I'm just thinking that some of them will be made within November or December time. So there's still plans, but they're just not all happening now, because now I'm focusing on gift knitting so much and on garment knitting for myself too. But yeah, Petal Drop Socks are my current sock project for myself. And now I'm heading into Laura Penrose Stella Quilt Cushion Test Knit, which I am so chuffed that she contacted me, and she was like, I heard in one of your podcasts that you were so excited about it. I think she saw that I was knitting on the Sweet Shop blanket, which I'm not going to show you just because I haven't made any more significant progress on that, I don't think, since my last video. And so with my blankets and also the one shawl that is currently in UFO, which I don't usually have UFOs, but it is right now. My goal still is to finish it by the end of the year. And the blankets are just such long-term projects that I'm not always going to show them. But yeah, so I think she must have seen that I was really hyping her quilted designs. And I was like, think one of the first people to cast it on immediately after she had brought it out. And yeah, I mean, everyone's loving it, but I think she must have seen that I was really, really into it. And so she asked me if I wanted to test it for her. And I was like, yeah, I do. It's a kind of like 4 to 5 week testing period. But it's not like she needs, she's still looking for feedback, obviously, and for people to make different variations, but it's not like it's an accessory test knit with techniques that she has also tested before in another pattern, kind of. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. It's more like I'm quite kind of like casually test knitting it for her, but still I want to finish the front within the test period and then just take some time for the back. And yeah, I've made some progress. I have 4, I wanted to say 3. I have made 4 squares is the right word already. This is kind of like the first row. There will be 2, 3, 4 rows. Maybe you can envision the star. I'm going to use this is my basket kind of. I'm gonna use these colors. It's gonna be kind of like an fitting cushion for my blanket. I'm using all the same colors except for this one. This is my macros from Exploring Knits and Fibers, and I'm still planning on making a ribbed hat with that, but just putting in these like 10 grams of I think it's about 10 grams of green into my cushion, and I'm so excited for it. I think it's going to be really nice, and I'm working along on it. And yeah, I'm just really so grateful for Laura to asking me to test it for her. I just think it's a really awesome design, and I will really very much look forward to having it as like a decor cushion. No one's gonna sit on it. Like a decorational cushion in our living room. And yeah, so my last work in progress, knitting work in progress, is the Traveler cardigan by Ozetta. I just have the back right now. This is made in unspun yarn. I'll try and show you the 2 plates that I'm using currently without ripping them. I have been spit splicing kind of a lot because it's been tearing apart quite a lot. This is Rain Cloud and Sage Unspun 2109. I'm making this within a mini cowl with my friend Venetia from the Woolly Worker. We've chatted on FaceTime or kind of like WhatsApp video call while casting this on. I haven't really worked on it since. Maybe did like 2-3 rows, and I want to dedicate some time to it these next upcoming days, because we are going to do a call again in like 3 weeks, and we want to be finished with the yoke at least, maybe the body. And I'm very curious to see how the button band will work out. This is my first unspun project, and although it is kind of it's a bit tricky because it's been the strand of fiber has been tearing on me quite a lot, kind of like just wetting the strand and like trying to felt it, semi-felt it on my hand has been working, and I'm holding it double. It's just because I have 2 plates, and for Venetia's yarn version, she's using Mantelopes from Wool Dreamers. She already got 2 strands in the plate already together. I think that's a bit easier, so on her it hasn't been tearing as much as it has on me, but I don't mind, and this has really confirmed a thought in my head that I will be using unspun even more in the future. I hope that I am planning to shop update tomorrow. I'll be talking about that later on some more, and I really hope that this shop will have a couple of plates of her unspun left over, because I would like to get a slip over quantity. You guys, I have some sweaters planned, but I'm so desperate to cast on a slip over. I don't know why. It's just something I really, really want to do. Okay, I hope that's everything. Just a couple of words on Venetia. Like I said, she's a Woolly Worker. I'll have her profile linked. She's awesome. She is from Belgium originally, but she lives in Scotland now with her partner. We had a really great time chatting. She is very organized too as a person, so we had this to kind of bond over, but also she has a really unique sense of humor. I think she has a kind of dry sense of humor. She just doesn't take herself too seriously, I think, and I think she really puts a lot of herself into her making, and I really admire that. And so yeah, I'm just so happy for all the people that I've been meeting throughout this journey. Like I said, it's almost been a whole year of being a podcaster, and almost, I think it's like 3.25 years since becoming a knitter, and it's changed my life so much for the better. Yeah, okay, so my next work in progress is not knitting. it's spinning. I might have told you guys I've been trying out some spinning on the drop spindle since Flock, where I got the drop spindle, and kind of like 4 ounces bag of Corriedale fiber. That was white fiber. I should have known that I should have gotten something a bit more fun color-wise to keep my interest. And also drop spindle has been dropping on me quite a lot. I've been trying the park and draft technique, but just really getting consistency has been a bit difficult, and has actually been quite challenging on my body just doing it. And so I haven't been doing it as much as I probably should have. This is the yarn that I have gotten so far. It's not a lot, but I have just taken it off the drop spindle recently to go again, but haven't picked it up since. But I knew that the idea of spinning was something that I really wanted to get into. So a couple of people that I have been following and really enjoying their spinning content for like the last half year, I think it's been more on my radar. Obviously, were Andrea Maury, Anna from Brook Willow, and my friends Emily and Maya. I think Maya started or has been spinning for some time. And I've been following her on Instagram before meeting her this summer in Seattle too. And then her friends, Emily, who also has a YouTube podcast, you probably all know her, Gently Chaotic Knits. She also does pattern designs. You should check her out if you haven't already. Again, she also started spinning, I think like half a year ago, it must have been. I'm very bad with timings. But yeah, those two were also very inspirational to the process. And yeah, like I said, Anna and Andrea, and also Young Folk Knits. Casey has been talking about her spinning some on her podcast. And so there were just some people that I think are lovely people and that are also lovely makers, and they've been talking about spinning so much. Also, Jess from La Mercerie on Bainbridge Island, the owner, Jess. She also, sometimes she just photographs her bobbins, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. And also recently, actually at Flock, she started spinning, and now she's already so good at it. It's Ariel from Ari Knits here on Instagram. Here on YouTube, we're not on Instagram. And yeah, she did the whole getting an e-spinner and now getting a wheel. I did the drop spindle and now getting a wheel, although I didn't get it. I was lent it by my co-worker. Let me pick it up. It is the Bliss by Woolmakers. I'm not actually sure if you'll be able to see it, but I wanted to show you guys the bobbin without taking it off, and so I'll just see if I can show you, maybe put in some B-roll. This is my first bobbin. Like I said, I'll try and put in some B-roll to show you guys later on. And this is a lend wheel. So this is not my wheel, but it might become my wheel. My co-worker, she does knitting courses at our local yarn shop. She has an e-spinner and not enough space in her flat, and so she was thinking about selling this wheel, and now she told me that I could try it out for some weeks, see if I get on with it, see if I like it. She actually gave me kind of like a private lesson for about an hour at our knit night, so it wasn't much, and I tried to really like listen to what she was saying and then just try it out at home. And I've been spinning every day since then. I've been taking even like 10-15 minutes in the mornings or the same amount of time at night, and I've been really enjoying doing so. Let me just actually take off the bobbin. That shouldn't be too bad. I just want to show you guys. It is actually quite easy to take off because there's kind of like a magnet in it. So it's quite easy, and so this way I'll be able to show you. This is my first bobbin. And the fabric I'm using is this braid I got at the local yarn festival that we went to recently. Is this, and I think I've kind of spun like half of it. It is 85% Corriedale and 15% Merino, 100 gram braid, I would say. And yeah, I've been enjoying it so much. I mean, there were so many pigtails in it. You can see here it looks worse underneath, but I just enjoyed it so much. And you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it, I think. I'm not a great singer, I'm not a great artist when it comes to like drawing, and I still enjoy it, right? And so I could see myself doing more and more spinning. And so I'm thinking about maybe asking for this wheel for Christmas, or maybe saving up and getting it from my coworker. Like I said, she is, yeah, she'll probably sell it to me. And it's a good price. It's a good starter wheel, I think. I'm completely looking forward to learning more about spinning too. So if you have any accounts, people that you love to follow, or if you're a spinner too, there are already some people that have been recommended to me, and I've subscribed to them, but I just didn't have any time recently to get more into it and learn more about it. But yeah, I've been just really enjoying it. I'm trying not to talk about spinning too much, you guys, but yeah, that's it. And I'll probably dedicate kind of like a small amount of time to my spinning whips and hopefully finished objects too. And I just can't wait to, she'll help me for another hour to learn the plying technique, that like general, just how to ply. I know there are several like techniques, and then we'll see. And I hope to knit with my spinning too. Okay, stash enhancement. I said that I would be going on a yarn ban with some some asterisks being like, okay, but I got 2 quantities of yarn from my local yarn shop, so the shop I work at, and I will be breaking that yarn ban for 2 shop updates, but that's it. Okay, that's it for this year. Okay, so we have this Polish yarn dyer brand at our local yarn shop, and I get an employee discount, which helps. So I just wanted to secure these 3 skeins of this beautiful yarn, since we're not gonna carry him for much longer, since he's only gonna dye for his own online shop from now on, because I think it's just gotten too much for him to do all of the other stuff. But it's the brand, it's called Slavica yarns, and it's the Mokosh base. It's 60% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 20% merino, and it's a DK weight. And this is the skeins. I know you might be thinking, but Marlene, that is the exact same color than your stick season, and you're not completely wrong. I think it's a more darker, more brownish color. This is a bit more orangey, reddish, but yeah, it's very close. And it just goes to show that I love this color, and I'm surrounded by orange and red right now, and I love it. These are my colors, you guys, and I'm usually such a beige and natural colored loving person. So if there's colors like green and orange and red and brown that I love, I'm not gonna fight it. And so yeah, I got these just because I didn't want them to sell out during my yarn ban. It's my yarn ban, I make the rules, okay? I treated myself to this after I think my first Saturday at work, which was very, very full on, and it was so fun, but it was also very stressful. So many customers, so much talking that day, and it was just like, I'm getting a slip over quantity. I'm thinking I might do the September slip over with this, just without any mohair. I made the September sweater. I made a gauge swatch for that before because I just love the look of these two. I haven't made the project at the end of the day, so maybe I'll try and make the slip over first. This is not something I'll cast on very soon, just because my next, like my coming up plans are already pretty full on. But yeah, I'm just very happy that I got these 3 skeins, and I'll cherish them in my stash until I'll knit with them, and then I'll cherish them in my wardrobe. So yeah, slip over quantity from Slavica yarns, and in this beautiful brownish red color. The next thing that I got was these Jagger Spun from Maine, from the US. It's 100% organic wool. It's a 2-ply. It's this gorgeous light orange, and I just thought the 2-ply looked so squishy, and I actually had 3 different colors in mind to choose from, like a light green, a chocolatey brown, and this orange, and I might need to go back and buy more single skeins, like 2 skeins, just because it's the perfect amount for a hat. They were on clearance already, and I got my employees discount on it, so I got these for $8. So yeah, a hat for $8 I think is a great deal. €8, not dollars, but yeah, looking forward to make a hat with this. So like I said, please don't be mad with me, mad at me. It's my yarn ban, I make the rules. No, but literally, I wanted to talk about this. I'm going to shop a yarn update tomorrow, which is the woolentwine shop update. I wanted to get the BFL Masham for some time. Actually, Rebecca from the Corriedale, she once I was talking about wanting to get the Sonder yarn for the Mudo sweater by the PetiteKnit, which is going to be my first colorwork sweater I will be making this winter. But I couldn't get the Sonder yarn because they're not shipping to the EU. She sent me a DM and she was like, I heard that there is this German natural dye shoe, and she's actually also dyeing on this, on a similar base, which is a BFL Masham. Although Eula, who's woolentwine, she calls it Massam, I think. So I'm not sure which of the two is correct. But yeah, so I really highly anticipated this this base, and I texted Eula and was like, I really would like to buy this base. Can you kind of anticipate when you'll get it back in stock? And she was like, actually, we're getting it back for October shop update kind of collection, and that was a couple of weeks ago, and now the shop update is tomorrow. And it's kind of like when your favorite show has the kind of like a series finale, you're just like so excited to watch it. That's me anticipating a favorite hand dyer's shop update, kind of like, I don't know. So yeah, I'll be getting a sweater quantity for the Mudo sweater. I'm just so excited to try color work. I've been craving to try color work recently, especially with working at the shop and like helping people pick out colors for colorworks. I also really want to make the Celeste sweater by PetiteKnit. I want to try the Halibut sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I want to try the Instant Crush by Joey Locatelli. There's just so much colorwork I want to try, and yeah, the most extent of colorwork I've done was striping, and that is not really colorwork. I mean, it is in a way, you're playing with colors, but yeah, not like the, yeah, not extensive color work. And so that's what I'm gonna get. And like I said, if she has some plates of her unspun in shop, I might also get a couple plates for a slip over. But other than that, I'm also just gonna, so that's gonna be my October splurge. And then November, there's gonna be the Leave No Trace collection from EKF. And I might have to get like one package from them. I'm not sure if they're doing the same thing. I haven't shopped their Leave No Trace before, but I think they're doing kind of like a surprise packages, and you can put in something like, I would like jewel tones, or I would like natural tones, like cool tones, speckles, stuff like that, tonal. And so yeah, I might shop that too. But that's it. I'm not gonna do any other shopping. And for me, I know I've been building and enhancing my stash, but also I've been knitting from stash a lot. And the next couple of projects that I'm going to do, I've actually brought a swatch with me, are from stash too. So this is my swatch for my hollow sweater. It is with the similar Pura from BC Garn. I got this from a friend for my birthday. And then this is that's very new stash. It's from Flock Fiber Festival too. It's let me just check, it's Woolberry Fiber Co. and it's in Homestead. And it's their Surrey base. So these two colors, these two, not working out, these two make this. And I have to thank one of you guys for gifting me this pattern. Again, it's by Ozetta. The Hollow Sweater V-neck. Thank you so much. And I'll be casting this one on whenever I've finished Hannah's sweater. So this is going to be my next cast on with yarn that I already have. Watch me trying to explain my shopping habits, but yeah. And the next swatch that I want to make this weekend after finishing Hannah's sweater is going to be for the Traveler crew neck by Andrea Mowry. It's going to be my first Andrea Mowry make. I'm going to use the Pearl Soho good wool. I'll have to wind it off and make a yarn swatch with it. And then these two, the Hollow V-neck and the Traveler crew neck, are going to be my two next sweater projects before then moving on to my colorwork sweater. And another, so right now we're kind of in the future plans, right? Another future plan, and I really hope I'm not being too kind of like optimistic, but since knitting this sweater for Hannes has been going so well, he is wearing his hand knit socks every night before going to bed. So I'm really looking forward to giving him another pair of socks. I also have some more hand-dyed sock yarn in stash to make him another sock, possibly for Christmas. But honestly, I want to make him a stick season sweater too, because like in my head I have this picture of us posing for Christmas cards. I know these aren't a thing in Germany, but like my family in the US always used to send these out, and I know it's more of a thing there to like pose for Christmas pictures with your dog or something like that, the whole family and the dog, and then send them out being like, from our families, from our family to yours, Merry Christmas. So that's what my uncle used to do, and my aunt. And so I, like I said, already swatched with this. This is with Woolly Knit Merino Cone, #ad, because they gifted it to me. Yeah, it's not a paid collaboration or anything. I'm not being paid to talk about this or say anything specifically about this, but I had this coupon code for you guys, and they sent me some yarn to try out. That was the extent of it. And they asked me if I did like it to talk a bit about it, if I wanted to. But yeah, no concrete kind of like, it wasn't a collaboration, a paid collaboration. But yeah, I got this Motatsa green and I made a gauge swatch. This is too small. I'll have to go up another half needle size at least. The same like with my own sweater. This is the woolly knit merino cone held double to create kind of like a light decay. And like I said, I will have to go up another half needle size. Rebecca is using a 3.5 needle for this project, and I will have to go up to a 4.5, which, yeah, maybe I am kind of a tight knitter after all. But yeah, so this is me on the 26th of November, no, October, oh gosh, the 26th of October, committing to knitting a sweater for my partner in 2 months, while also knitting all my other stuff and spinning and sewing. And you know, I'm not sure if it's gonna work out, but I would want to try. After finishing this sweater for his birthday, I gave him the yarn, like I said, for last year's Christmas. I just see like him in his green and me in my red version, just taking the cutest Christmas pictures. So, and he's been so excited to get this sweater. He's been so patiently trying it on all of the time, and so I just think he's very knit worthy. These are my plans, my next coming up knitting plans. Want to finish up some gift knitting, start 2 new sweaters for myself. I also crave some smaller scarf knitting, something like that, maybe with my leftover flock yarn, because I love it so much. And I also got this gorgeous cashmere silk merino yak blend from the festival. I really would like to have like a Sophie scarf with that, but I also would like to try the scarf number 1, so maybe kind of like a different small scarf project. So yeah, I am like keeping my eye out for that. I'm also knitting on a sock for the shop, but I don't have it with me. It's the Grow sock by Fiber Tales. I'm going to show you when it's finished, but until then it's just living at the shop and getting a couple of rows a week, because I don't get to knit a lot during my work, obviously. I think people sometimes perceive working at a yarn shop a bit differently than what it actually is, but it's amazing. So I'm not complaining, but it's not sitting and knitting. Most of the time it's not. So yeah, trying to get my Stella quilt cushion done within the next kind of like 3 weeks, and knitting up all my fiber to then ply it, and then I'll be moving on to my next braid that I also got at the festival, which I'm very excited to do. And so yeah, this was all my knitting. Now onto some media stuff. I've been, I don't know if I mentioned this, reading 2 books that I really didn't like, and this usually doesn't happen. I think I'm quite good at choosing books that I will like, and I have read some incredible books this year, but the last 2 books that I tried, one was by a German author, Mariana Leckie, who I actually really enjoyed the book that she wrote after the one that I was trying to read then. It was actually made into a film this year, and I really enjoyed that movie. But the one that I was reading from her was called Erste Hilfe, First Aid in English. I really didn't get it, and it was touching some really important subjects of like mental health and illness, but I really didn't get into her writing style, and I didn't finish it. And I don't ever not finish books, I just don't. But right now, recently, I've been like, wait, like you only have a set amount of time on this earth, and you don't want to spend it reading books that you don't enjoy. So I put it to the side. Same goes for this book by, I think her name is Hannah Grace or something like that. She wrote, I actually forgot the name of the book, something about an ice skater and a figure skater and a ice hockey guy. I mean, sometimes I do enjoy kind of like a ranty, romantic. I mean, I enjoy Emily Henry, so if that says anything to you, you know that I can dabble in that genre and enjoy it. But this book was so bad that I was cringing through most of it. There were some important subjects in it too, and I think it was trying to be very inclusive and very modern. it was just too crammed. There was just too much happening, and still it was reeking from like stereotypes when it came to the scenes, which then I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on here. Am I allowed to speak about that online on here? I don't know. When it came to the more intimate scenes, it was just so stereotypical, and like something that really annoys me is when a woman is described as being so tiny that when the man picks her up, she's like literally crumbling in his hands. It reminds me, like, it's just, she is being described as if she were a child. Like, she's always so tiny, and his hands and his everything is so big, and like, I can't. I found it to be such a... No, I didn't finish the book. Again, so 2 books I didn't finish. I didn't want to talk about anti-recommendations for too long. So now my recommendations. We've been reading and watching and listening through The Lord of the Rings again. Sometimes at night when I'm knitting, Hannes is reading the books to me. We've started with the Silmarillion right around the time when the Rings of Power started again, to get a bit of the backstory. It was actually quite difficult to read. The style reads more like a religious script in a way. It's like very saga-esque. I don't even know if that's a word. But it was still very interesting to get all the backstory and the backstory of Morgoth, and how the world of Lord of the Rings was created, and the Edain, and probably mixing up everything. But yeah, it was so interesting to learn about. And now we're reading through Lord of the Rings again. And yeah, we're also watching the movies. We just finished watching the movies. Now we watched through the Rings of Power again, which when they first came out, we had a lot of things to say about it, but now, yeah, it was just nice to be in that universe again. There is a lot of things I would like to say about it, but that would be too much now to go into. But yeah, to everyone who's watched it and had some opinions about it, I totally understand. But still, I just love The Lord of the Rings, and so it's been nice to listen to the audiobook, read the books, and watch the films. Yeah. And now the last thing I wanted to get into is my favorite YouTuber. I've actually been following her for close to 10 years now on YouTube. Her name is Rhiannon Ashley. She actually started out with an account called Fashion Rocks My Socks. I think I was about 14 back then, or like 16 or something. I mean, I'm now 28, so I must have been, or maybe I was 18, something like that. And she has been my favorite YouTuber ever since. She now does a lot of lifestyle. She's a mom. She now has picked up knitting, and she also is very vocal and open about anxiety, being an anxious person. So I think that's really, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I just wanted to recommend her channel if you have not come across it yet, which I know so many people are subscribed to her already, but I just wanted to recommend it as someone who has watched her for such a long time. She's just recently got married and yeah, started knitting again, and I just really enjoy watching her content. So in other news, we are currently running a giveaway. It's still open until Sunday evening on Instagram. My friend Lydia and I, when I told her that I wanted to make an advent calendar for her with scraps, I think she suggested, or we came up with the idea of making a third one. So she was making one for me, I was making one for her, and we were both together make one for one of our subscribers. So if you're subscribed to both of us on Instagram, you can find our shared post that we did about the advent calendar and still enter it until, like I said, Sunday evening to win it if you're in the EU and you're over 18. And yeah, this is not affiliated with Instagram or YouTube. I don't know what to say. I'm not a paralegal person. I don't know. So yeah, but we're currently running that. I will do another small giveaway to say thank you for my 1 year anniversary episode in a couple of weeks. And other than that, if you want to support my channel, you can do so on Ko-Fi. You can do so by liking and subscribing to my channel and this video, and also sharing in the comments what you're currently working on and making. I always love interacting with you guys in the comment section, as well as on Instagram and in my DMs. If it takes a bit longer for me to answer them, I'm just trying to put up some healthy boundaries with my social media time, and just in general, I don't have as much time right now to spend on social media just because of working several jobs, and I'm so happy and thankful for that. But yeah, I'm just trying to not be on my phone as much when I'm off work, and I'm not on my phone when I'm at work. So yeah, I think that's it. I feel pretty good about this take. I hope I'm not gonna look at it and be like, well, you shouldn't have. But no. Yeah, this is my making. I hope you're enjoying your making time. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you'll come back for next time. Bye guys.